Imagine walking into any room and possessing the uncanny ability to decipher exactly what people are thinking without them uttering a single word. Most people go through life completely blind to the silent language being spoken all around them, relying only on the deceptive nature of spoken words. However, the true masters of human behavior know that 93% of communication is entirely non-verbal and rooted in deep, subconscious impulses. In this deep dive at Mind Cipher, we are pulling back the curtain on the world of dark psychology to reveal how elite manipulators operate. You will learn to see the invisible threads of influence that govern every social interaction, from business boardrooms to casual personal encounters. This isn't just about simple observation. It is about developing a strategic mind that can perceive the hidden architecture of the human psyche. By understanding these secrets, you gain a massive advantage that allows you to stay 3 steps ahead of everyone else in the room. We will explore how to identify the subtle shifts in energy and intent that most people unconsciously leak every single day. Stop being a passive observer of your own life and start becoming a strategic architect who understands the game of human influence. This video will equip you with the mind cipher necessary to break through the social masks people wear to hide their true selves. Are you ready to master the art of reading anyone instantly and ensuring that you are never the one being played again? Let us begin with the fundamental foundation of all behavioral analysis. The first and most critical secret to reading anyone is establishing what professional analysts call a baseline for every individual you encounter. A baseline represents how a person behaves, speaks, and moves when they are under absolutely zero pressure or emotional stress. You must observe their natural blinking rate, their default hand gestures, and the specific rhythm of their speech during normal conversation. Without establishing this baseline, you'll never be able to accurately identify when someone is deviating from their natural truth. Once the baseline is set, the second secret involves hunting for micro-expressions, which are involuntary facial leaks that last only a fraction of a second. These flashes of genuine emotion happen before the conscious brain has time to put on a social mask to hide the truth. For example, a sudden tightening of the lips or a brief flash of contempt can reveal hidden anger, even when someone is smiling. Manipulators often use these leaks to test your reactions and see if they can bypass your logical defenses without you noticing. You must learn to focus on the area around the eyes and the corners of the mouth where the truth most often escapes. If someone's words are positive, but their micro-expressions are cold, you have just identified a major psychological discrepancy. This skill requires intense focus, but once mastered, it allows you to see the reality behind the most sophisticated lies. People can rehearse their words for hours, but they can almost never control the biological impulses of their facial muscles. This is the moment where the internal reality of a person crashes against the external facade they present to the world. Most people focus on the face when trying to read others. But the third secret is to look at the feet and lower body. The human brain prioritizes the face for deception, meaning people are very good at faking smiles and eye contact while lying. However, the feet are the most honest part of the body, because they are the furthest from the conscious control of the brain. If someone is talking to you, but their feet are pointed toward the exit, their subconscious mind is already screaming to leave. This is a powerful directional cue that tells you exactly where a person's interest or loyalty truly lies at that moment. When a manipulator wants to lead you somewhere, they will often point their body in that direction before they even speak. You can also observe leg crossing patterns. A sudden shift to a closed posture usually indicates a psychological withdrawal from the current topic. If you notice a person suddenly bouncing their feet or shifting their weight, it indicates a spike in their internal anxiety levels. These lower body movements are nearly impossible to fake because we rarely think about what our feet are doing during a conversation. By shifting your gaze downward occasionally, you can gather data that contradicts everything the person is saying with their mouth. A master reader knows that a person's linguistic mask is often betrayed by their Podal Truth, or the truth of their feet. This allows you to gauge someone's comfort level with incredible precision without ever having to ask them how they feel. Integrating this into your observation routine will give you a 360-degree view of the person's true psychological state and intentions. The fourth secret involves moving beyond what is being said and focusing entirely on the vocal tonality and pacing of the speaker. When a person is being deceptive or feeling manipulated, their vocal cords naturally tighten due to the fight or flight response of the nervous system. This often results in a subtle rise in pitch or a sudden change in the speed at which they are delivering information. Watch out for people who suddenly start talking faster when asked a difficult question, as they are likely trying to rush past the lie. Conversely, a sudden unnatural slowing of speech can indicate that the brain is working overtime to construct a believable false narrative. Alongside vocal cues, you must be aware of the mirroring trap, a favorite tactic used by manipulators to build artificial rapport. Mirroring occurs when someone intentionally mimics your posture, your gestures, or even your breathing pattern to make you feel comfortable. While natural mirroring happens in genuine friendships, forced mirroring is a calculated attempt to bypass your critical filter and gain trust. If you suspect someone is doing this, make a sudden, unusual movement, like touching your chin or crossing your legs. If they follow your movement within 20 seconds, you have identified a conscious attempt to manipulate your subconscious perception of them. Real rapport is a slow, organic process, while manipulated rapport feels suspiciously perfect and synchronized from the very beginning. Being aware of these vocal and physical echoes allows you to maintain your mental boundaries and keep your logical mind sharp. Never let an artificial sense of comfort blind you to the strategic goals of the person standing across from you today. The fifth secret is perhaps the most powerful tool in the dark psychology toolkit, and it is known as the pregnant pause. Most people are deeply uncomfortable with silence in a social setting and will do almost anything to fill the void with words. When you ask a question and they give an answer, do not respond immediately. Instead, maintain neutral eye contact and wait for 3 seconds. This silence creates an immense amount of psychological pressure that forces the other person's subconscious mind to keep talking. Often, in their rush to fill the silence, they will over-explain their actions or accidentally reveal a detail they intended to hide. This is the exact moment when the mask slips, and you get a raw glimpse into their true personality or their hidden agenda. Manipulators hate silence because they cannot control it, and it forces them to improvise outside of their rehearsed scripts. You can use this technique to test the validity of any statement by simply letting the silence do the heavy lifting for you. It requires a high level of emotional intelligence and self-control to remain silent while the other person is visibly uncomfortable. However, the data you gather during these brief moments of silence is often more valuable than hours of verbal interrogation or debate. Silence is the ultimate truth serum because it strips away the noise and leaves only the raw behavior of the individual. Mastering the art of the pause allows you to control the tempo of any conversation and puts you in a position of authority. Remember, the person who is most comfortable with silence is usually the person who holds the most power in the room.